And yes, we are live today. So welcome back to Isabelle's talk show. And thank you again, Tanya, for being my guest today. And obviously, before we start the topic we mentioned in Facebook, I would like to introduce Tanya. So good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everybody, wherever you are. So Tanya, I know you're in Ontario. You live in Canada, and I know as well that Tanya loves gardening, painting and crafts, cycling and hiking. Tanya is an authoritative expert on self-care, mindset, and she's certified fitness coach who has been featured on Rogers TV, Worldly Podcast, and has been quoted in magazines. She's a motivational speaker, co-author, host of 2 podcast shows, and has a YouTube channel. Tanya transformed the lives of introverted women by coaching them on the importance of self-care, self-love, and she provides the how-tos of revamping and creating a positive mindset, an outlook on life, globally supporting, motivating, and inspiring women to become empowered, positively shift their mindset, and include self-care into their daily lifestyle. Her teachings and messages allow women to finally release their self-inner critic, gain self-confidence, self-love, self-worth, and to finally love their own reflection. Gone are the fears, excuses, and guilt for opening space and making vital life-dependent me time every day. Tanya runs an online self-care mastermind program for women, is a keynote presenter, facilitates support groups for women CEOs. She has an online group community for introverted women and offers in-house and online self-awareness workshop for businesses. So today, welcome Tanya. You're going to talk about refreshing our outlook on life and especially yourself because it's springtime.
Thank you, Isabelle, for having me. And wow, thank you for that beautiful introduction. Yeah, here, in Canada, North America, other parts of the world, it is spring, right? And when we look outside, we notice new life, that the spring flowers are coming up off the ground, or there's trees blossoming. There's, nature is just changing, saying goodbye to winter and rebirth and newness for spring. And I think when we look at the world around us and we say, wow, this is so exciting, because people get excited when it's spring, right? And I think that really sets the tone for how we look at ourselves and what new beginnings, what new chapter, what new journey can we travel on and say goodbye to those self-doubts. And I know it's a struggle, right? It is a struggle because we tend to really focus on our flaws versus focusing on the new chapter ahead. And what can I shift in my mindset? What can I shift in my life to become the woman I've always wanted to be? So I feel that it's a really, really exciting topic that we're going to share today.
Yes, thank you very much. And I totally agree, because usually we focus on what we have achieved, but it's nice to look back at what we've achieved and what we want as well, and thinking, okay, if I could do that, then what I want is possible. Let's do it.
Exactly. And, one thing you could do too, Isabelle, that I recommend is, why are you stuck? What is holding you back from moving ahead? Because when we let those thoughts sit with us, often you start to see a pattern. And it's when you see that pattern, all of a sudden this light bulb goes off, as like, that's why. Or maybe as far as, okay, you know what, forget about that. I'm going to start on a new journey. I'm going to start something else. And because it's spring, Forget about all these, the past winter or the past fall, what I tried to achieve and I couldn't. Spring forward, add a new light step. So what's something you can do every day? It's something I talked about myself today is look for something that surprises you. Like, do you see a new flower? Do you hear a new bird? Do you see the clouds are a different shape? Do you see the sunshine is surprising you today because it's been gloomy forever? And then apply that into your own life, right? Say, okay, what's something that I can do I haven't done forever? How about give myself a compliment? Right? Maybe there's a new spring outfit or a new color you're putting on and you have it today and you're wearing this new spring colors and you're surprised at how it's, making you feel happy and bringing a smile to your face and bringing warmth and joy inside. Well, then play with that. Be more playful, right? How can you now use that surprising new feeling you haven't experienced before? And how can you continue applying? Okay, well, I really like this color pink, or I really like this color green or purple. Well, throw it throughout your home, right? Maybe add flowers to your kitchen table. Something I picked up last Thursday, tulips, and my whole family, my husband and kids are saying, and my kids are older now, they're 20 and 17. They're like, wow, these are beautiful, right? And everyone's like smiling. So, maybe add a pillow to your home, maybe add a blanket somewhere that has that beautiful spring color, because then when you look at it, this warmth happens in your life, in this light, this like wow moment. So it's simple, right? Very simple to do. It's using that thought process. How can I simplify it to create that beautiful feeling of warmth and joy?
Yeah, changing the colors, I don't know, in your lounge, or as you were saying, changing the colors of your clothes, suddenly it's just like, oh, today I'm going to put yellow on.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why
So,
not? Right,
uh-huh.
right. Yeah. Hey, I love how you say put yellow on. You're like, why not? Some people are like, no way, I love the yellow, but I never wear it. Then accessorize. I say, throw on a scarf, maybe a
Exactly.
bracelet, right?
Uh-huh.
Maybe, I don't know, earrings, maybe put your hair in a ponytail or a braid with yellow ribbons or yellow elastics, things like that, right? And it's like, okay, well, yeah, I'm having my yellow color I love, but I don't really want to wear. Right? Or again, sometimes that negative mindset thinks we can't wear yellow. There's different shades of yellow. So find a shade of yellow that looks good on you.
Mhm.
Or bring the yellow daffodils into your home. Bring the yellow piece of paper even, right? Because you love looking at this yellow, and place it somewhere, that you look at every day. In your bathroom, maybe get a yellow toothbrush, right? Maybe a
Yeah.
yellow natural soap, anything to bring about that new joy and savor spring and new beginnings and new life, and start looking for yellow things, because you know how when we put something in our mind, we start to see it.
Yes.
So think of a yellow flower, a pink flower, or, all of a sudden you start seeing yellow vehicles, or you start seeing the yellow flowers, and you start seeing all these, mindset thoughts coming to life.
I've just spotted that you've got a yellow book.
Yeah, here and here, yellow here and yellow here. So yeah, this one, it says the high five the habits. So 5 habit, right? Of
Uh-huh.
giving yourself that high five in the mirror. I mean, you do it to other people, right? And you
Uh-huh.
see something I do, this is kind of on the same topic as I teach kids how to cycle. And after, we've gone mountain biking, I always, when we're done, high five them, like high five, and just they smile, right? These are
Yeah.
kids. So why not high five yourself in the mirror? Why not high five somebody, your family or a coworker or a friend? Because it naturally, they've already done studies, it naturally releases these feel good hormones. So, and then, yeah, this one is, you've got to read this book again. It talks about shifting your mindset, looking at things in a different light. So instead of taking a situation and seeing all the negativity, saying, okay, I know there's something good that happened in each situation. What is that? It's those little daily habits that we do where our mindset starts to shift a little bit every day.
And that's another thing as well we can do, because it's spring, you know. Usually in winter we just stay in our flats or houses because we are cold, you know, so we just shut down. As now it's just like time to open up. So take a mindset.
Yeah, open up your blinds, open up the windows, you know, even like in Canada, yes, we have winters. It wasn't that bad of a winter, but regardless, you know what? I went out for a walk with our dog every day. Weekends, we went for hikes. And when you're outside and the sun is shining in winter, it is so bright and beautiful. It's somewhere where you are, where it's really no I just feel you have no snow, maybe high in the mountains. But you know, there's why, again, going back to that why, Isabelle, why are you not wanting to explore the world around you? What are those reasons, right? How can you get around them to help you move forward? I mean, this is such a huge, huge topic, because I feel that those little baby steps you take every day, it really affects you overall. And it even affects the people around you, right?
Of course.
It even affects the people around you. And maybe you're still hesitant. So say, okay, what have I been hesitant on? Well, now that it's spring, what's the smallest thing I can do to move forward and begin this journey? And maybe take a hint from nature, right? Take a hint, because we can learn a lot from the outdoors and nature, so much. So how is that rebirth happening in nature, and how can I apply it and change it a bit and apply it to my own life?
Yeah, well, just saying as well that now flowers are coming out. Let's get out and look around us, because sometimes we are so busy and we don't look around us. I mean, today I went to my yoga class and I was going down the hill and I was just like, I was looking at my neighbors, I was looking at the colors, I was looking, and I was like, wow, it's been a while since I did that.
Yeah, and you feel this lightness in your step happen. You know, and as you're talking, I was thinking of something that came to my mind as you were saying that, Isabelle, that, you know, there's a lot of, I hear a lot of women specifically talking about things they've always wanted to do. Let's say, or they used to be, you talked about, you know, you mentioned, I love to paint. I do. And a lot of women I've heard, oh yeah, I used to be so creative and I've kind of stopped and I don't know why. Well, you know what? How about springtime? Bringing things outside and being creative with them. Or why not pick up a paintbrush? Why not pick up, you know, a little canvas? Why not pick up some paints or pencils and just start drawing? Maybe you can look out a window. Maybe you can actually go take your chair and sit outside and start painting that or drawing that. If that is something you used to do and loved it, why not pick it up again? Right? Why not pick it up again and take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because you will experience this inner joy, this inner calmness, this inner happiness, that it ends up reflecting on the outside. You're done and it's like, wow, that feels good, or wow, look at what I created. And do not all of a sudden say, oh, this is no good, I'm not as good as I used to be, because it's going to possibly happen. Say, no, I actually did it. Like, I started it. I picked up that paintbrush. I picked up that pencil and I started to do it. That is a reward in itself that you need to be proud of.
Yes, definitely. I can just feel it now
Mm,
as you are talking, because when I paint or when I draw, I just forget everything.
yeah,
I get that joy. I mean, I could burst.
yeah, yeah.
So I totally understand that. Okay, sometimes we just say, "Oh, I don't have time." No, I don't like this expression. I don't have time. It's just like, okay, it might not be a priority, but make it a priority.
Yeah, yeah. And, I'm gonna say too, something that's really bringing me joy right now too is we have a huge vegetable garden in our backyard. So I start the seeds inside in a greenhouse.
Mhm.
And even people that have balconies, you can still have vegetables in a patio planter. So I'm gonna make a suggestion here because when we think about spring, new life, things coming up, and then how can we take what happens in spring and get huge benefits out of it? So grab yourself a pot or a few little pots, purchase some soil, get some seeds, plant that. Give it some
Mhm.
love every day. And within a week, you're going to start to see things start growing, seedlings start, and it all depends with the vegetables and the flowers. Take flowers then, and you're going to start to see like, wow, by giving it love, you're going to see all of a sudden the seeds greenery comes up, because I'm seeing every day new seedlings come up, and it's so exciting to see, right? And then imagine how you're going to feel that come the summer, in the late spring, you're planting it outside, and all of a sudden you're bountiful of this beautiful, these beautiful flowers. All of a sudden you have peppers, tomatoes, whatnot. It's like, I did this, right? I grew this from a seed. And why not do that? Because whether people say, well, I don't have a house backyard, but people do it on the balconies. Or look in your neighborhood. Where are there community, gardens? Here
Exactly.
in Ontario, a lot of community centers, a lot of churches have community gardens. So start the seedlings in your home, right? And how beautiful is that? The nourishing of your soul, the nourishing of your body, whether it be flowers, yeah,
Yeah.
whether it be, food. It's amazing how you will be proud of yourself.
You know, that reminds me that I haven't done that for ages, and now we're talking about starting something different, and I mean, or in a way, creating something
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
I used to, every time I would start a new project, I would buy a plant,
yeah,
and I would just say, okay, that's my project plant, and I would just work on my project and work on the plant as well, and so to see it grow, because that's exactly what a project is like. Different steps, you have to put in the work, so it's the same thing as putting the water to the plant.
yeah.
So I related that, and I associated it, so I was like, yeah, I haven't done that for ages. That's it, and I've got new projects coming up, so that's it, I'm going to buy some plants.
Oh, very nice. And even you can even take that. I've heard of people doing this, just an experiment themselves. They have two of the same plants. One, they give nurturing words, and the other one, all they do is water it and provide the sufficient lights. Those, even with the mind, that plant they speak to, even with their mind, and give it love, those plants flourish. Yes, flourish and grow. And they're amazing. While the other one, that all they did was water it and give it the light it needed, it didn't flourish. And sometimes it ends up actually dying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So apply that to your own life,
Yeah.
right? Because what we think ends up affecting us in so many ways, more ways than we realize it, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
I love that plant idea. That's great. Because plants are wonderful. In our home, they're in every room, and I'm not talking about just one. Because there's so many health benefits too, right? Cleaning out, like filtering your home, having clean air, and all those, but it just beautifies your home and it adds warmth. And I love that how you say, I'm going to start having a plant for each project, because when you give that plant love, your own projects you're doing on the side will feel more rewarding, I feel, at the same time.
Yeah, totally. That's true. And what the example you were saying as well, about talking to the plant, is the same as we talk to ourselves. If we
Yeah.
talk nicely to ourselves,
Yeah.
things are going to grow inside and positively. If obviously we talk negatively, we're just going to attract negative things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, so true. And experiment, right? Experiment. Yeah, you can't, I mean, I find experiment is a way of learning what works and what doesn't overall,
Mm-hmm. That's
right?
true.
And because sometimes you'll hear that, Sally tried this and it worked really well. I tried it, didn't work. Well, you're two different unique individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe shifted it a bit because you really liked what she was telling you about. So, okay, how can you change it a bit that's going to work for you?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to allow you to make room for yourself in that activity or that project. Life is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Life is up and downs. And at the end of the day, when we realize, you know, some things are fate, that it didn't work out for a reason, because you were meant to do something else or you were meant to try it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And I find those failures are actually learning curves.
I agree.
Learning curves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All
and,
these
and share
yeah.
and sharing as well with people what you want to do, or if they can help you, and don't stop yourself. Ask for help. I know sometimes it's difficult, but it's like, for example, you're talking about fruits and vegetables, growing them. I haven't got a clue how to do that, but that did inspire me, because I've had that idea for a long time. And I was like, yeah, but how am I going to do that? And I'm just thinking, okay, I'm just going to find somebody who can help me.
Yeah. Yeah. And 9.9 times out of 10, when you ask that person will, like, sure, right? They're overjoyed that you're going to them to ask for help or their expertise. Like, I always say there's nothing wrong with asking,
Mm-hmm.
right? You'll never know the answer unless you ask.
Cool.
And realize that there's no stupid, like, here a lot of people say, oh, I know this is a stupid question. No, it's not. No question is, people say stupid all the time. No question is stupid. I mean, I rather have someone ask me a question and know that I can help them, or maybe, unfortunately, I can't with that, but I know this person can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Exactly.
always. Yeah, sorry,
Refer.
what were you gonna say, Isabel?
Yeah, yes, it's true. You can, if you don't know the answer, you can refer that person to somebody else.
Yeah.
And not staying with that doubt of should I ask, should I not? Just
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe you are asking and you're brave enough to ask, and other people have the same questions, but they don't ask because they don't have the courage to do it. So
Yeah.
just do it. And if people think, oh, well, she should know that. Well, if I ask, it's because I don't, and I'd rather, asking, so I clarify, and I have got the right idea of what I have to do, or what I have to think, or
Exactly. Isabel, I'm gonna shift page and kind of go something we mentioned right at the beginning. About spring having new life. Get outside and get fresh air, go for a walk. I love going for walks or runs or hikes. And maybe there's, a walk that you do every day. How about walk a different route, right? Walk a different route and see the different sites. Because when you walk a different route, all of a sudden you become more in tuned to the things around you. And it's like, wow, this is really nice. Or, look at the beautiful sights I'm seeing. Or am I hearing different birds? Or am I hearing, children playing and having fun? And often when we take a different route, you're just like, oh, this is really enjoyable. Or it's like, okay, this wasn't interesting, but I didn't like this. I'm going to try a different one. You know, when I'm going for a run, oftentimes I have a plan, but sometimes I don't. And I'm just going to run, or I'm going to walk and see where the path takes me. And, you know, as I'm running, I was like, nope, I'm going to go this way. And it's so enjoyable when you just allow flexibility to happen. Because when you allow flexibility to happen, you realize that, you know what, this kind of worked out. Maybe I need to shift the way I think and allow more flexibility to
Mhm.
happen in other situations.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. You know what? On Thursday, I'm going back to yoga class. I'm going to change the route.
Yeah. Yeah. And because, you know, you mentioned today it was beautiful that you noticed different things. So if today's walk, you notice different things, imagine that new route you're going to take and the beautiful things you're going to notice there.
And even meet people, different people,
Yeah.
saying hello to my neighbors.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So it's such a good topic, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Spring forward, look at things in a different light. You know, what do you see in the spring that you can bring into your home, bring into your life? What things can you shift a bit that brought joy to you before? How can you start implementing that into your life? Maybe once a week, maybe every day. You know,
Mhm.
maybe cook something different.
Yeah,
Why not?
exactly. Change and or include new ingredients or yeah, experiment. I love that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
experiment.
Yeah. And I encourage everybody to, you know, bring flowers into your home. You know,
Mm,
I used to every week, well, every 3 weeks, because depending on the flowers, they'll last usually about 3 weeks. You know, every 3 weeks I would get new flowers for myself. It's like I'm buying flowers for myself, right? And I hadn't done that forever. And when I talked about, remember, I just on the market, I picked up tulips and it brought joy to me and brought joy to my family. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to go back into that habit I used to love and I stopped doing, but
mhm.
now I've started up again and I realize like, wow, this is a habit, a routine that does bring joy overall. So I'm going to continue it.
No, that's really good. I don't know if you're aware, but here in Ecuador, we are very famous for roses.
Oh, beautiful.
So I love roses, but the only thing is I changed the color of my lounge. Now it's blue, and it's quite difficult to find some blue roses
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? White looks nice with blue.
as
Yellow looks
well.
beautiful with
As
blue.
well, it's true. So that's going to be the next thing. And I actually bought some roses to a friend
Yeah.
2 days ago, and but I didn't buy any for me. So. Um,
Yeah. Or get, you know what I always say, it's you can get yourself a blue vase, like even what you have, if you could
yeah,
paint it, spray
yeah.
paint it or paint it. Like I'm into DIY all the time. So maybe paint it or add something that's blue. And
Cool.
then, you know, whatever colors, yellow's nice and bright for spring too.
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, we should talk more often, Tanya, because you've given me so many ideas. I'm going to be a busy bee at the weekends, but I like growing vegetables and fruit and painting my vase, buying some flowers, putting some different colors as well. I love orange,
Yeah.
and I'm going to buy something orange. I love orange.
Oh, beautiful.
So,
Orange tulips, maybe?
wow, tulips here, we don't find them.
Oh,
So
they don't
that's
bring
the
them
thing,
in
but
either.
orange flowers, orange roses, yes, definitely. I had some before. So,
Yeah.
but even to buy orange clothes, I love orange.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's so many different tones of
Uh-huh.
orange too. Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Oh God, you've inspired me today. I'm full of beans, as we say in English and British
Oh.
English, and I'm just like, wow, I could do this, I could do that. So thanks again. Have you got some more ideas for us? Or
Well, it's funny how, you know, you mentioned I've been inspired because, you know, springtime I've been looking like changing a few things, simple things that I can do myself, you know, like um going outside on our deck, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna add some orange pillows, and I'm getting like sewing it myself, or getting orange covers. I love buying secondhand and changing it because it's good for the environment too, right? If you can get secondhand and change it a bit. But yeah, adding some pillows onto the furniture that's on the patio, and maybe putting the planters that I normally have on a plant shelf. I thought, oh, maybe I'll just get big pots and put them in there and put them on the deck. And yeah, it's, when you allow yourself to be creative, it's so empowering, right? It's showing yourself worth. It's giving yourself confidence. It's, and this is something that I've done before, where I'll do something and I just love it. And my family's like, well, I don't really like it. It's like, that's fine. You don't need to, but I love it and I'm keeping it like this, right? Why let other people, if it brings you happiness and joy, stick with it.
Exactly. Totally. I totally agree. And anyway, we can't have the same taste. So,
Yeah.
And as long as you're happy, I agree. Do it for yourself. And even like, for example, changing your hair. I cut my hair. And everybody's just like, what's going on? I'm just like, well, I just needed to do it. And I feel like, okay, I'm just changing things, and that makes me happy.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah, I love, Isabelle, that you change your hair too, because I change it all the time. It's like, okay, it's time for a cut again, right? And I've gone like short pixie cut and longer, and it's like, yeah, it's spring, time for a change again, so I'm gonna cut.
New look, new colors, new energy.
Yeah, hair grows, right? It grows.
Exactly. Definitely. And I'm just like, yeah, oh God, I feel like so energized I could just burst.
Yeah. Oh, it's so nice though, that when you recognize that energy and you just go with the flow, right? And when you feel that energy and you recognize it, you're so motivated and it feels great. And okay, I'm going to stay with how I feel, and I'm not going to allow something to bring me down. So if I'm seeing negative news out there, I'm just going to turn away from it. I'm just going to step away, and I'm going to stay on this journey of enlightenment. And when you're really in tune to your mindset and your body, you start to recognize things that negatively impact your mood. My husband, he was kind of in this really grouchy mood this morning, and I said, like, you need to stop cursing. It's like, what time you're cursing a lot, and you need to stop. And he didn't even realize it, right? How grumpy he was, and he was cursing, and then he immediately stopped because I could tell. I was like, okay, it's starting to impact me, and I'm putting an end to this right now, right? And again, I mean, you have to be very, people are like, I could never do that. It comes out of respect for each other.
Totally. And even for him, it does help him to just recognize it and just say, hey, you're in that space. Change your mindset.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, all day it's going to be like that negative. It's going to attract negativity. So recognize it. You're not happy, but change the way of thinking. So,
exactly. A spring tip I can really offer people too. There's days where, is like one of those days, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's so much, and I'm feeling myself being drained, and it's like, oh my gosh, I just stop what I'm doing and I walk away. And if it's like midwinter and it's -20 out, I'll then just simply look out a window. Something that I encourage other people to do, women to do, is just stop what you're doing. If you're feeling just drained and no energy, and you're feeling really negative and you're feeling really angry, stop what you're doing and step away. And if, let's say, you're at work and you can't really step away, away from your desk, just simply stop what you're doing, look away, focus on your breath, maybe put on your desk a beautiful plant or a beautiful vase, right? Put some, maybe, like, I'm not into artificial flowers, but it's okay. There's some artificial flowers out. So get a beautiful vase, put some artificial flowers in there. So you can just look at that. It's like, okay, those flowers, that vase is bringing me joy, and just take a few deep breaths and exhale it. And doing that simple exercise, you're going to immediately feel this calmness come about you. And just, maybe you have a book or a favorite pen, grab that. And I think we talked about this before. Is there a favorite bracelet or favorite necklace you can wear then, and just touch it? You're like, okay. Yeah, feel that calmness, feel that joy it brings you, and now step forward with that better, empowering feeling you're experiencing at this moment.
Wow, thank you very much, Tanya, for
Yeah.
inspiring me and inspiring my audience. And
Yeah.
we were talking about new things, so I would like to thank you for being my guest for the last talk show. I'm getting emotional.
But it's
Wow,
positive because
I
you've done these
know.
beautiful things. It's been a beautiful journey in your life.
Totally.
And now you're enhancing your other amazing talent, other amazing gifts, and you're sharing it in another way that is going to empower other women.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's, I'm not going to disappear,
Yeah.
obviously. I will be here, but in a different way. I want to thank you for being my guest today for the last one, and thanking all the guests who participated with me. And obviously, if you've missed the previous talk shows, you can join and tune in and look at my YouTube channel, Phoenix Coaching and Training. And so I'll see you next week for something different. Anyway, so Tanya, thank you so much. I'm just going to make the list of all the things I need to buy to grow my vegetables. I'm going to buy flowers, and I will send you pictures when it's done.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Isabelle. I really enjoyed our conversation and feel very grateful for inviting me to be your final guest at this journey that you were on, and allowing me to share messages with you, and for allowing me to inspire you.
Yes, thank you very much. And if you want to get more tips on how to spring forward, I've put Tanya's details in the description of this Facebook Live. God, I can't even pronounce it anymore. And so don't forget to contact her. She's got fantastic tips. And thank you for being here, because thank you as well for the audience, because otherwise this talk show would have never happened. So thank you to my guests. Thank you to all of you in the audience, and I'll see you soon. Thank you again, Tanya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.